Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. In today's video we are going to discuss the 2025 paper of ordinary differential equations for the course BSc Honours Mathematics first year semester 2nd. The paper was a standard paper. This was the third time that this paper was tested under the NEP structure, the new curriculum, and the weightage of the paper for the external exam is 90 marks. That's the standard thing, and the format was also the same as the previous 2 years. All the questions were compulsory and there was an internal choice. You were expected to do any 2 parts out of 3 parts per question, and every part carried 7.5 marks. So that makes it 15 marks per question because you were to do any 2 out of 3 in every question. So 15 into 6 makes it 90. So 90 marks, 6 questions, every question having an internal choice, 3 parts in every question, and you were to do any 2. So let's quickly flip through the question paper. I'm going to give you hints in between here and there so that you are able to tally your answers when you solve it. And you can see that non-programmable scientific calculator is allowed here. Look at the first question. It was a normal question, a standard initial value problem, which was a direct exact differential equation, so you can solve it easily. Just check the criterion for exactness, you'll find that it's exact, and then don't forget to put the initial condition to get the value of C in the end, and this is going to be your final answer. I've written the final answer in the brackets for you to tally when you solve it. The second part was homogeneous differential equation. Very easy again. You will just substitute y by x as v and follow the usual procedure to get the answer as y square minus x square is cx cube. The third part was reducible second order differential equations, and you can see that this is the category where the dependent variable y is missing, so you know what to do here. I have written the final answer here so that when you solve it you will be able to tally your answer. And since it's a second order differential equation, you can see that there are 2 constants, 2 arbitrary constants in the final answer. Moving on to the second question, it was a normal question on exponential growth model from Edwards and Penny, and the answer is 80 years. You can easily tally this once you solve it using the exponential growth model. The next part was from Newton's law of cooling, another application of first order and first degree differential equation, for which this is the answer. Final answer is written at most of the places so that you are able to tally your answers when you solve the question paper towards the end, when your final exams are approaching. So you can practice these papers and keep tallying your answers from the final hints that I've given here. The next part, C, was again an application from first order first degree. So this was the first time when the second question had all 3 as applications of first order and first degree differential equation. One was from exponential growth, the second was Newton's law of cooling, and the third was radioactivity. And radioactivity, the answer to this question is 60.65% approximately in the end when you solve it. It's going to be in terms of log etc, but since scientific calculator is allowed, so you're expected to find the approximate final answer also. The third question was to show that these 2 functions are linearly independent solutions of this differential equation, and we know how do we check linear independence or dependence of solutions. We find out the Wronskian of those functions, and we see that the Wronskian turns out to be non-zero, which it is going to be non-zero. So you can first check that they are solutions by putting them here and verifying that they are solutions. Then you can obtain the Wronskian to check that the Wronskian is non-zero, so that you establish linear independence, and then you were to find a particular solution which satisfies certain conditions. Now since these 2 are linearly independent solutions of a second order differential equation, so your final answer looks like a linear combination of these 2. So this is your general solution. Now in this general solution you will put these 2 initial conditions to obtain the values of C1 and C2, and you will find that the particular solution, which is the desired solution in this case, turns out to be the function which is identically 0. It's the 0 function which is the required particular solution. Moving on to the second part of third question, it was a question on method of variation of parameters directly from the book. You can see it's the standard tan 2x question, and you will first find yc and then you will obtain your yp through the standard technique that we do in method of variation of parameters. You can tally your answer from here. This you can see is your yc component, and this is the yp component in variation of parameters. The next one, again expected, undetermined coefficients and variation of parameters, is a short question every time, and this was The part which was the third part from the third question was from method of undetermined coefficients. You will first find out your YC, and since you'll have to see whether it's a special case or not. So you'll have to first find out the initial equation, roots of the characteristic equation, your YC, and then looking at YC you will have to see whether this is a special situation or not, and it's a special case, so you need to modify your trial YP, and then after modifying your trial YP and doing the usual equation stuff, putting in the equation, equating the coefficients of the like terms, etc., you will be able to find out your YP also, and this is going to be your final answer. The next one was from operator method for solving simultaneous equations. So you know that you put these in the D notation, so you'll be writing it as D plus 1 of x plus 2y is e to power t, and 2x plus d plus 1 of y is 3 to power t, and then using the usual method where d of course stands for the derivative with respect to t. So you'll convert this into the operator notation, and using the operator method you are going to solve for x and y. So here is the final answer written for your reference. Moving on to part B, it's the Euler equation question. You can see it's Euler because the same power of x is attached to the corresponding order derivative. So it's standard Euler, so you're going to make a substitution as t or v, whatever you want to call it, as a new variable which is log of the original independent variable, and then the usual technique helps you to find out the final answer in this case also. Now the third part from this question was from simple pendulum, a straightforward question. You were given a mass which is attached to, so mass is known to you, it's attached to the end of a spring stretched by a 20 centimeter by, so you are given the length, you are given the mass, you are given the force, everything is given to you, and you were just required to substitute them in the appropriate formula to find out your amplitude was expected, period was expected, and frequency was expected. So I've written everything here, and I've written the final answers also, so you can tally your answers from here. It's just a direct substitution question, very easy. Now moving on to the fifth question. Fifth question was from modeling, unit number 3. So you know that the first two questions are always from unit 1, the next two are from unit 2, and the last two are from unit 3. That's the standard pattern of the paper every time. So the fifth question, part A, is the first modeling question, in which you were to first define carrying capacity, which was carrying 1 mark out of 7.5. So definition of carrying capacity, you know that a given environment can support a limited number of individuals. So it has limited sustainable resources, and this number is called the carrying capacity, and it's generally denoted by the symbol K. So you have to define carrying capacity and derive the logistic equation. So when you derive, you'll have to start with the compartmental diagram, and you'll have to write your assumptions on the basis of which you build up your logistic equation, because you take natural births are certainly natural, so you take births, and then you take natural deaths, and you take deaths due to overcrowding into account. That means deaths due to fight for resources into account. That leads up to this logistic equation. So you were to explain all this. And the second part was a case study which is there in the book for a salt solution in a tank. The same case study was given, it's just that instead of salt they took sugar water solution with same numbers, everything else was the same. So you were expected to derive that equation here, that differential equation that models the amount of sugar in the tank at any time t, and you were expected to solve it also. So you would start with the compartmental diagram once again, and you'll say that rate of change of mass of sugar in the tank is rate at which the mass enters, and minus the rate at which the mass goes out. So you'll be creating a differential equation in terms of mass first. dm by dt is 10 times c in t minus mt by 100. It's the standard one which you had for salt solution in the text of Barnes and Fulford. So it's the very same question. So it's just that instead of salt they are saying sugar in the question paper. That's the only difference. In part C, again, it's a question from the exercise of Barnes and Fulford. You are given the model already, and you are given the initial population size, and you have to find the predicted population size using this model after 2 months. So you will be solving this equation for x in terms of t, and in the end you will be putting t equal to 2 in that to get your approximate answer as 120. The initial size of the population is 100 and you will be finding the size after 2 months and it is going to come out to be nearly 120. The last question of the paper was the first part of the last question is the spread of technology model given in the text, not in the text, it's in the exercise of Barnes and Fulford again. So this question, which is regarding spread of a technology, standard question from the exercise again, as it is was given, which term corresponds to the fraction of population who have not yet adopted the so this is, it's very easy. It's the same numbers were given, so there's no problem at all. It's the very same question which is there in the exercise of Barnes and Fulford. So you can refer to that exercise and your solution there to tally your answer. Next was derive the epidemic model of influenza. So whenever a derivation comes in the exam, you have to please start with the compartmental diagram and then your assumptions, etc. And once you do that and you introduce the suitable notations, you write your balanced law in words and then you translate that balanced law into your differential equation model. So this was the model which was to be derived. So you'll start with the 3 compartments and you will write balanced law for each one of them. You will introduce what S is. S is the number of susceptibles, I is the number of infectives, R is the number of recovered, and so on. And then you will be deriving these equations after writing suitable assumptions and balanced law in words first. First you write it in words and then introduce the notations and then you write the model. The last question of the paper was you had to define equilibrium points. You know, equilibrium points of a system are points which correspond to zero rate of change. So you'll first define what equilibrium, because whenever a definition comes in the exam, it carries 1 mark. So you are going to lose marks if you skip defining equilibrium points first, and then you got to find the equilibrium points of this system. So this again is a question from the exercise, and the equilibrium points for this system, there will be 3 equilibrium positions. Let me write them for your reference, though it's a question from the book, but still I'm going to write it. So the first equilibrium point will be 0, 0, the second will be K0, and the third will be alpha 2 by C2, and so let me refer to my answer. Yeah, so these are the 3 equilibrium points which you are going to obtain just by solving dx by dt equal to 0 and dy by dt equal to 0 simultaneously. Then you were to discuss the direction of trajectories also. So trajectories, you know, you will have to sketch the phase plane diagram, and in this particular case, since x and y are standing for predator-prey population respectively, so you are going to sketch it in the first quadrant only because the populations cannot be negative. So in the first quadrant, you will be dividing your first quadrant into 4 regions corresponding to x equal to alpha 2 by C2 and y equal to beta 1 by C1, and you will observe that the trajectory follows this direction. So in the first quadrant, first region, it's going to look like this. Second region, it's going to go like this, and the third region, it's going to look like this, and the fourth region, it's going to go like this. So this is how the trajectory is. So you can verify your answers after doing the trajectory and phase plane analysis on your own. So this was all about the 2025 paper, a very easy standard format, all questions from the books which are the recommended textbooks were there. So it was like a cakewalk for those who studied nicely, because no new question was given, only you know, some like in the sugar solution question, it's just that the salt one was done with identical you know, data. You were just given sugar instead of salt. So those minor variations were made in the paper, otherwise they were as it is from the recommended exercises of the textbooks. So I hope this is clear to everybody, and I hope it helps you to prepare for your final exam. Thank you so much for watching.